To talk about Danger Room. This has been the hot topic for the entire week, and I do take issue with a significant part of Danger Room that I think is severely flawed, and that has to do with the power rebalance. Now, there was two issues with it. One was rectified. The first one was that it wasn't clear that this was specifically tied to Franklin Richards. It didn't used to say this. So they did go back in and add the text. So it says, on start, if Franklin Richard is an ally, damage the inning with the highest damage for 99% health. This damage reduces the max health of the target by the same amount. My experience with beating Danger Room 10 is that it was all about this pact. And yes, there are many ways to beat it. One of the ways to beat it, the most efficient, the easiest way to beat it is to run Franklin. Okay, fine. So what I used was a gear tier 20, 3 purple ISO, Franklin, and then I also used Doom, which was gear tier 19, 105, purple 3, but I used healer. The problem with the Fantastic Four, specifically in Danger Room, is that they really don't have good sustain. But from what I'm hearing from many, many other people is that Franklin is vital, gear tier 20, super helpful, and the more tokens that you have, the better. Most people had about 1,000 or more. I've heard lower numbers like 700, but most people had at least 1,000 tokens. And then they were running some other members of the Fantastic Four with healer ISOs. Kind of makes it a lot easier. Now, before I get into this post, and the reason why I take issue with this is that this does not show up with the rentals, which is pure garbage. It's not right. And I don't think that is intentional. So a lot of the difficulty and the frustration surrounding this particular Danger Room probably would have been rectified if we would have known some key things or if it was working differently. One, if this was clear that this was tied to Franklin Richard, if you wanted to get this one, I think people would have wasted a lot less time if they knew how this works and how important Franklin was for completing this version of the Danger Room easily. Two, if the rental with this doesn't work, it's a miserable experience. Also, I just got to say this. The contrast between the last Danger Room and this Danger Room was a bit extreme. And I think that the extreme ease of the last Danger Room, and I understand was on a weekend and it was a shorter version, but it was load up difficulty 10 with Old Man Logan and beat it. And this Danger Room is working a lot more like, I believe, their intended gameplay design, but we were not ready for this. The community is not happy with the difficulty level. Some people enjoyed it. I had a good time, but from what I've been reading on Reddit and talking to Twitch chat, it is not fun. Now, I want to say that there are 3 things to get through Danger Room. And without these 3 things, it's not going to happen. The first one is you do have to get lucky and you have to get the right boons, the right packs. Let's just get that out of the way. You do have to get lucky. 2, you're not going to get through it if you're playing poorly. So not only do you have to get lucky, you have to play correctly. And 3, you have to have the strategy with enough tokens. And the problem that it's going to happen with this, even if you're lucky, if you're not playing correctly, you're not going to get through it. Even if you're lucky and you're not using the correct strategy, you're going to have a miserable time. Now, as you go through Danger Room, the more tokens that you acquire, that is going to lower the amount of skill and gameplay and grindiness and RNG. RNG factor is going to go down as you get more tokens. I mean, if you get all the tokens, 6,000 plus tokens, it's going to be less RNG dependent. It's going to be less skill dependent. For me, in my run, the run took almost an hour. I had to reset nodes multiple times, and I don't think a lot of people want to reset nodes 5-6 times. A lot of times I just had bad rooms, bad buffs, bad experiences, bad everything, and I had to restart. And hopefully I was acquiring tokens along the way and it got easier. So that is the way it is right now. I feel like this Danger Room was too extreme in difference from the last one. They probably are going to have to scale it back. And then if they're going to do stuff like this, we need a little bit more disclosure. And I don't see any reason whatsoever why the rental Franklin won't work and get this packed. Because this was the boon rather, that made it work for me. So I think most people in the community had a bad experience. Now, I do want to take a step back. I do understand that people have had a bad experience. I did not. I had a good experience. I had fun. A lot of people said I got very lucky. I have a video of my run. I had 1,069 points. I started with Franklin. I have a gear tier 20 Franklin, purple 3. He was 3 stars. I also ran with a Doom, and the Doom was gear tier 1905 healer, purple 3. And I used the Uncle Doom pact, and I actually got through it on my first attempt with 1,069 tokens. People said I played well. People said that I had the right strategy. People said that I got very lucky. And I think those are the 3 components to beating Danger Room. And if one is missing any one of those 3, it's not going to be a good experience. So, this person here, I just wanted to read this because this was a person that did get through it. Finally beat Danger Room, level 10. No gear tier 20 characters or cursed. Interesting. First off, Danger Room is insane. BS that is trying to get you to spend for characters. I use Fantastic Four, characters Franklin. That's key, I think. Franklin is the trick to the whole thing. At gear level 100, gear tier 19, and Doom at 105, gear tier 19. So this is close to my strategy. He doesn't mention healer ISO, but healer ISO on Doom made a difference for me. Doom is 4 red stars, Franklin is 3. I rented the rest of the Fantastic Four MCU and used 400 gold tokens. That's the tokens to enable arena, speed, Doom, and a digital damage pack. So the Doom is the Uncle Doom one. So this is very similar to the strategy that I had, except I had a little bit higher Franklin, and I ran healer, but I did also run that same pact and the same 2 characters. During the game, I selected offensive pack, speed manipulation, and bleed packs. Yes, that's what I did also. Anything that gave me additional energy, damage, and speed when enemies died or their health dropped. I also tried to hold off using an ultimate attacks unless I went up against heavy hitters. Last thing is the key is to play the first 2 elite nodes and skip one of the health packs at the beginning to get better packs and more tokens to level up later. I had 200 health I didn't even use, but with this game, a lot is based on luck and RNG. This is true, and best of luck to everyone here to answer any questions. So, yeah, you got to do the elite nodes early to get the good boons, and then towards the end stop. The particular ones that I got that enabled me to get through it were not only the one here, which is super, super helpful, but I also got the one where if you do a basic and you don't do your ultimate or special, the basic damage ramps up. And I did that a lot. And then I stumbled across I think it's something with bleed on spawn, and the bleeds are based on the character with the highest damage. So a lot of times they were just popping off and dying. That may be in a different run, but I that was one of the runs. The final run, I'll put a link to it in the description. The full run is on YouTube. It took me about 45 minutes. And you can see that I had to reset the nodes. Now, I'm confident that if I failed on that run, I would have got tokens. And then the next run would have been a little bit easier and a little bit less RNG dependent. And that would continue over a course of time until I built up a stockpile of 4,500 gold tokens right here to beat it. I don't think a lot of people want to do that. The other thing too is that this is going to be a thing going forward in that of using the current teams. So right now they're coming out with a Hellfire Club. The next version of Danger Room, I'm going to assume, is going to use the Hellfire Club. So that is going to be a secondary way of them to coerce or incentivize us to buy the new teams. It is what it is. Now, a lot of stuff happening this week. I'm just going to go over this quickly. Big shout out to Big Spartan. Twitch drops start tomorrow at server reset. We get a Mr. Fantastic Strike Pass. I'm still pouring characters and not buying Strike Passes until I feel like I'm having more fun in Marvel Strike Force. I'm not taking like a no spend pledge or anything like that. I'm just backing off spending because I feel like spending was ruining my enjoyment of the game. And now that I've stopped spending, I am having more fun. So I'm not buying the Strike Pass, and I will be coring Azazel. Azazel is going to work with the cursed inside of War. Dorky Dad put a video about Azazel with the cursed team, not in War, but inside of Crucible. And it was mixed for him. He wasn't really thrilled. Other players have told me that Azazel gets more value with a cursed inside of War. We'll have to see. And then Rachel Summers, which is going to be the next member of the Hellfire Club, is going to add quite a bit of value to Immortal inside of Crucible. As far as raids, I mean, it's just like Thunderbolts. If you want to do well in raids, you have to buy the Thunderbolts. And the raid kits and all that stuff doesn't matter because they literally design the lock and sell you the key. And the key fits perfectly into the lock. And whatever they're going to do with the new raids is going to be designed in a way that the old teams just simply don't work. And you have to use the new team. So raid bonuses, things like that, don't matter ever unless there's a Crucible room with the raid bonus room enabled. It just doesn't matter because it's specifically designed in a way that the old teams don't work well and you have to buy the new teams, and they build the puzzle around that concept solely. So whether they have raid bonuses, raid this, that, just doesn't matter until they go in Crucible with a raid room, which nobody likes. Antimatter Star, which is the new version of Intel, larger bundle, increased income, reduced cost of things and shards and diamonds compared to Intel Store. Age of Annihilus, Harbinger ends, Broken King Bings for Blastar, featuring the Conqueror's trait. Fantastic Four MCU and Hellfire Club gain the Conqueror's trait, and there will be two more, the next two teams. Cosmic Raid, which is an event, it's not a new raid, will have the following things tied to it. Then we're going to start getting the Blastar events. So I'm not going to go over all of that. Battle World's coming back. There are going to be significant changes to the way that Null works with an 8-minute timer. My guess is that Astral without Doctor Strange and Mephisto is not going to work anymore. And then Franklin Richards will be going to the Antimatter Store. Now, keep in mind, and then the Null finale. Keep in mind, we've got about 8 days left for the Intel Store. My suggestion is run, don't walk. Start spinning that down as much as possible. For me, I've been acquiring mutant gear for the Hellfire Club, and then also I just need to catch up for bio, perhaps for Blastar. Blastar is going to be bio as well. And then I've also been buying down here at the bottom Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic MCU. But I've got 8 days to spin down the 500,000. Bye for now.